Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Deb's Corner. It's Deb here. So in this video, I'm giving you my recipe for our seafood soup. We pair this with a baguette and it's so delicious, especially on cold winter nights. So stay tuned and enjoy. Okay, so guys, we're going to start with our ingredients. I'm going to start with my cold items first, and then we'll work with the rest of the ingredients. Because I have to put this back in the fridge, and then we'll bring it out. These are like, we use these two towards the end of the soup making process. But yeah, so I have my seafood, a bunch of like different seafood, shrimps. We have mussels, we have some scallops, what do you call them, squid. But yeah, seafood medley. I add heavy whipping cream to my soup. This is a pint. I add a half a pint of whipping cream, heavy whipping cream to my soup at the end. Here, this is also a cold item. I use Better Than Bouillion. I like this because it has 50% less sodium. Or not 50%, but less sodium than regular bouillon cubes. So I use that. It says chicken base. They have actually, I think if I'm not wrong, they have a seafood based one. I know they have beef, they have chicken, they have veggie. I think they have a seafood based one, but I'm not sure. But I use the chicken chicken flavor for my soups. So you can use seafood if you want to. So that's my cold ingredients. I also have, this is the brand of seafood stock that I use, is Imagine. No preference, it's just the one that's available in my store. So I use that one. I also have sea salt, black pepper, cayenne pepper. We also have smoked paprika. I like the flavor and the color that this gives my soups. Onion powder, thyme. That's our dry ingredients. And then we have our base, our veggie base that I usually use before I actually pour in the stock. So leeks, these are the ones that I got from my garden. Like I told you, I bought leeks from the store, and when it was done, I cut it, the root, and I planted it again. And these were the ones that grew out of that second planting, or the first planting, or the second batch of the same root. So yeah, I have leeks in my garden. You need carrots. I have garlic, fennel. I think in my previous two videos or a video before, I showed you guys what fennel looks like, but fennel is really good with seafood. I have onion, yellow onion. This is half. I usually use a medium, but I didn't have enough yellow onion, so I just have that, but that's okay. I have chopped celery. This is about 4 to 5 stalks of celery. And then I have my green onion. Okay, so these ingredients, very simple, very easy dish to make. I'll start cooking and then you guys can see the process. Okay, so in this pot, I forgot to mention my other ingredient was oil. I have my extra light virgin oil. I have about 1/4 cup in there. So we're gonna bring that to a boil. To this, we're going to add our onions first and foremost before we add anything else. So let this start cooking. I love cooking. Cooking is so therapeutic. So we're waiting for oil to get hot. I think it's hot. So we'll reduce it to medium heat. And then we're going to add our first ingredient, which is onion. So we're starting with our base. You should hear that sizzle. I don't know if you hear that sizzle. Do you hear that sizzle? You should hear that sizzle. Let it cook down. It's going to be transparent, but not too transparent. So we're going to allow it to cook, but not to get too transparent. About 2 to 3 minutes. Let it just cook. Once that's done, I'm going to add my garlic, and then we're going to start adding our hottest vegetables, which will be celery and fennel. And then we're going to start adding the rest. You start building up on your steps. Onions are where I like it. It's about 3 minutes. Been a minute that's passed, but three minutes in total. So we have it at the consistency that I like it, or the color that I like it, we're gonna add our garlic. This is about 4 garlic cloves. Hopefully I'm saying that right. So we're gonna mix that in, let that simmer as well. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I should have cooked in that burner. I don't know why I didn't, but yeah. So let that cook for another minute. You don't want garlic to get too dark because it becomes bitter, right? So we don't want that bitterness. So yeah, we don't want that bitterness. So let the garlic cook for another minute and we'll get back to the rest of the cooking. Okay, it's been a minute. This is where I add all my spices. I like my spices to like release its flavor in the oil before I add all the other veggies. So this is where I add my spices. So the first thing I'm going to add is my black pepper. I would measure this, eyeball this, and give you like a measurement. So this is 1 tablespoon of black pepper. I usually use 2, but let's use 1 for now. I have my smoked paprika. This will be another 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. And then my cayenne pepper. Then we have our thyme. That will be 1 tablespoon of thyme. We have our onion powder. 1 tablespoon of that. And so that's what I usually add. The salt I'll put in last, but for now that's what we have. I'm gonna turn it. You can see it's drying. The oil is drying out. The spices are making the oil a little bit thicker. That's okay. So let's just mix. Let this again 1 minute. Let it just cook for 1 minute. Then we can add our other veggies. What I like most about the soup is the color that you get once you've finished everything and you added the stock. And then it's time to add the heavy cream. Oh my god, the color is amazing. So let's let this cook for a minute and we'll get back to the other ingredients. Okay, so it's been a minute. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna add my toughest veggie. So this is fennel. Fennel is so hard, so you need your fennel to cook longer. So we're adding our fennel. Add the fennel and mix it. Don't worry about the pot being so dry. The veggies will release its water, so no need to worry about that. I'm also using a cast iron pot, so helps with burning as well. This is like my soup pot. So yeah, so that's in there. So I usually add the fennel and the celery at the same time. Like I said, they're the hardest veggies. We're gonna mix this and let it cook for 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're gonna add the other ingredients. So let that cook for a bit. Let's mix it again. As you can see, the veggies are sweating. That's what you want. You want that sweat. Let it sweat. Let it sweat. This aroma in here is amazing. It's amazing. I love this. It's amazing. So I want it to sweat a little bit more. Let's give it 1 more minute. It's been a minute. We're gonna add our leeks. Not a tough veggies from the garden, so they're very crunchy right now. I love fresh produce from the garden. Oh, the flavor, the texture. It's amazing. This is very crunchy, you know how much I love crunchy things. So yeah, we're gonna mix that. Again, everything's just not cooking for a long time, but just 1 to 2 minutes, just sauteing it, allowing the veggies to sweat and melt down. So let that cook for a bit. Let's mix it. As you can see, it's flattening and it's reducing in size. This is what we like. You don't want to cook down the veggie too long. So yeah, that's there. Let's add our sea salt. So sea salt, I would eyeball that as well. I will start off with a teaspoon, and then if I need more, I'll add a teaspoon more. So let's go. 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna add my bouillon. My bouillon, better than bouillon, will be 1 heaping tablespoon. I usually put 2. I start out small first, 1 tablespoon at a time. So 1 tablespoon first. Like I said, I love this thing. I usually buy a bunch and just stock it and keep it in my garage. Just like when I need it, I just go straight to my garage and get it. But yeah, so let's mix that up. Good. Now we can add our carrots. I love the color that this you get from the fresh produce. It's just amazing. I said I was going to add the green onion first, but hey, it doesn't even matter. Just add it in. Mix that up. Look at that color. Look at that base. Look at that base. Let's let that cook for a minute. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see the liquids forming? Yep, and that's why you didn't need to add any more oil initially when we added the fennel and the celery. So that's cooking down a little bit. Remember, you don't want your veggies to cook down too much. So now I'm gonna mix it and also taste for flavor. This is perfect for now. I say for now because once you add the stock, we're gonna retaste again and then go from there. So it has just the right amount of spice, right amount of everything. So I'm adding my seafood stock now. Again, you need 64 ounces of seafood stock. That's what. Usually this pot overflows. Let's see if I make it this time. Usually overflows and I'm like, oh man, I put too much. Hopefully it doesn't. Oh, we're good. But by the time I add the seafood, watch, it's gonna just be like, I always make this mistake all the time. But anyways, so we're gonna mix that. And this has to come to a boil. I mixed all the ingredients in. Now I want to do another taste to see where we're at with the spices. And we are going to add some more. We're going to add some more bouillon. We're going to add a teaspoon of sea salt. We're going to add a teaspoon of onion powder. So now instead of tablespoons, we're adding teaspoons. Onion powder. Teaspoon of thyme. We're gonna add a teaspoon of paprika. Oops. I use my eyeball. If you've been cooking so long, you're used to just knowing what a certain measurement looks like when you're cooking. So it isn't that hard to judge. Then we're gonna add another 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Black pepper, another tablespoon. I love black pepper. Black pepper, anything I cook is like splendid. So 1 tablespoon of black pepper. And we're gonna mix and taste for flavor. So this look rich. Then we're gonna again bring this to a boil. Okay, we're gonna check on our soup. It's been 15 minutes. I hear it, yep, it's boiling. I hear it boiling. So, oh ouch, that was hot. So it's boiling, that's good. I'm gonna now reduce the heat a little bit. It was on medium, just halfway between medium and low. I'm gonna add my seafood now. I reduce my heat only because once I start to add this, it tends to overflow. So I go little by little. Once I tend to add the seafood, it overflows. So let's hope that it doesn't do that this time. I always hope for it to not happen and then it tends to happen, but let's see. So we're adding our seafood now. This is like the most easiest dinner you can make if you're in a time crunch. and to come up with something really fast. This is easy. The only thing, you have to have baguette on hand. I usually buy a bunch of baguettes. When I say bunch, like 2 or 3 or 4. I'll just put it in my deep freezer, and then it just stays there when I need it. I'll bring it out in the morning, and you know, it stays on my counter, pause, and then I use it. I put it in the oven. I sprinkle water and I put it in the oven, and it's good as new. We added our seafood. I'm gonna bring it back to medium, and I'm gonna mix it. We're gonna have this cook not for long, 3-4 minutes. Seafood, you don't want to overcook seafood. As you can see, the shrimp, I don't know if you can see, but the shrimp is already turning pink. Yeah. So let's just mix that in. Let it cook for another 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, it's been actually 5 minutes. I said 2 to 3 minutes, but 5 minutes. So yeah, not boiled yet. But that's okay because I'm going to add my heavy cream now. You're gonna see the color I'm talking about once this is added in. Look at that. Once I mix it, you're gonna see the color. You look like, oh. So that was half of a pint. Felt like a cup, but just a half. Look at that color. Look at that color. Oh, look at that color. So this is our seafood. I'm gonna let this cook. It's still on high. I'm gonna let it cook for 5 minutes on high, and then our seafood soup is done. Look at that. Look at that color. That color is so amazing. Look at that color. Just look at that color, and look at all the herbs. Yeah, this is like a good hearty meal in a cold night. So let's close this. Almost got myself in there. So we're gonna close this. Again, it's on high for 5 minutes. So this is what we're looking for. This is the soup. It's been 5 minutes on high. Now soup is done. Until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.